This entranceway transformation is sponsored by Van Dyke's Restorers. Visit Van Dyke's Restorers at the link in the description below and get inspired to transform your home. The mudroom door of my house is basically the main door. We do have a front door, but we almost never use it. This is an inexpensive door that I picked up at one of the home stores a few years back. I'm going to transform it into something much nicer by painting it black and adding a brass kick plate at the bottom. I'll start by taking the door off the hinges and bringing it out to the barn. I washed the door the day before while it was still on the hinges. That just gives it enough time to dry out before I paint it. And now I'm going to sand the door with 150 grit sandpaper. And I'm only going to spend about 15 or 20 minutes sanding the door, just enough to scuff up the surface. I'm masking out the windows with 8.5 by 11 computer paper. As you can probably see, this is an old set of plans, and that'll work great. Any scrap paper that you have hanging around the office or the shop, just fold it in half and attach it to the window with the blue painter's tape, or any painter's tape you have. I'm going to paint this door outside, and as you can see, I put down a tarp because I don't want to paint my lawn black. And I'm using a pair of low horses, or what I describe as low horses, and some 2-inch styrofoam to put the door on top of, and the styrofoam just protects the other side of the door. Now let's talk about the paint. For this project, I'm using Benjamin Moore's Command. This is an interior-exterior paint, and I have to say I really like this paint. It dries fast, and it sticks to just about anything. If we read the side of the can, you can see all the substrates or surfaces that this paint will stick to. I'm spraying the paint, so I do want to thin it a little bit, just about 5%. I didn't really take a measurement and just eyeballing it. And I'm using the Fuji spray system with a 1.3 tip on the gun. I forgot to mention that this is a waterborne paint, so when I thin it, I'm thinning it with water. With this spray system, if you pull the trigger just about halfway, only forced air comes out of the gun. So right now I'll use the forced air to blow off any dust from the surface of the door. When I paint the door, I'll keep the gun about 6 to 8 inches away from the surface of the door, and I'll start on the far side of the door and evenly work my way across till I get to the end. Then I'll go to the other side of the door and repeat the process. And here I'm starting on the near side of the door, so I guess it really doesn't matter, but basically I'm just trying to cover the whole surface with the paint. And this is the first of what will be 3 coats. What I really like about this paint is that it dries super fast. So it's only been about 15 or 20 minutes. The paint's dry. You can see there's a few leaves on the door, but they didn't stick to the paint because the paint was dry, so I could blow them off with the leaf blower and spray another coat. I let the third coat of paint dry for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. I didn't want to get any handprints on it. And then I hung it back on the hinges. And again, that's another thing I really like about this Command paint. I was able to take the door off, paint it, and hang it back on the hinges all in one day. Okay, and here's a look at the door with the masking tape removed around the windows. And I think it looks really great, but what's really going to set this door off is the brass kick plate that I'm about to add to the bottom. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this project is sponsored by Van Dyke's Restorers, and they sent me the kick plate to help complete this entryway transformation. I'll have a link to it down in the description below. The painter's tape will help with the alignment of the kick plate, and I'm attaching this kick plate with screws. But if you don't want to put screws in your door, there are magnetic and adhesive attachment options as well. The screws provided are self-tapping screws, and because this is a vinyl door and I don't want to strip the threads, I'll get the screws started with the screw gun and then make the last few turns with a handheld screwdriver. I have to say I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I think the black door with the polished brass kick plate makes a huge difference, and the kick plate really adds to the durability of the door. It was a few days before the kick plate was attached, and the bottom of the door had already been kicked once or twice, so definitely makes a big difference. I like the brass, but if you're looking for a different finish, there's 18 finishes to choose from, and there are 8 standard sizes, and if you need a custom size, they're available as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm really happy to partner with Van Dyke's Restorers on this project. So I hope that you'll click on the link in the description below and check out Van Dyke's Restorers. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Just a quick reminder, if you're looking for a good woodworking project to build, maybe this planter is something you want to get started on. I built it a few years ago, and I have to say I think it looks great in front of the house, and it's a really fun project. You can find the plans for this planter and lots of other woodworking projects over at my website at johnpeters.com.